Coming up next on the Journey with James podcast. In that moment, I simply say, you know what, God, I give it all to you. Lord, I'm feeling lonely right now. Lord, I'm feeling less than. I'm feeling like no one wants to be bothered. And I know, Lord, I know for a fact, and this is something that you know that growth takes courage. I know for a fact that this is not necessarily true, what I'm feeling. I know that there are people there for me. I know that there are people that absolutely love me. But I also recognize it's the trauma that's speaking to my mind. But I come against it right now in Jesus' name. Walk with me on this journey as I share transparent stories of my life and others, the ups and the downs, failures and successes, offering you hope and advice that can help you in your journey. So join me on this journey walk where you will be encouraged, be motivated, and be inspired. This is The Journey with James. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new edition of The Journey with James. This season 4, and this is episode 2. How you been? That's what I want to know. How have you been? I mean, it's literally almost halfway through the year. We have another 2 months still, but it's just like time is going super duper fast, and we're almost there to halfway through the year. So my question to you guys is, how are you doing? How are you holding on? How are you holding up? Because I know that you've had some ups and I know you've had some downs. I know you had some ebbs and some flows over these last few months, but how are you holding up despite what you've been going through? Well, I hope that you have been encouraged. I hope that you have been inspired. I hope that you have been motivated to keep going and to keep trucking no matter what. Because at the end of the day, life can be very hard. At the end of the day, life can cause you to feel so depressed and so just ready to give up. But let me tell you something. You got to hold on and be strong. You're going to be all right, okay? I'm so glad to be here with you guys again. Yes, I am behind. I will be real honest with you. I was supposed to have another podcast out to you guys for the Journey with James weeks ago. But I'm learning to be led as I do these podcasts. And one of the things that I understand is that I have been going through a tremendous healing process over the last few years. And I know you guys have seen my growth. For ones who've been following me, have seen my growth over the years. And this has been one of the most phenomenal years of healing that I've ever experienced. And one thing I'm recognizing is sometimes I need some time to process. I need some time to really get things in my mind and to break it down and to get understanding and to change what I need to change. And it has been a process. It has been hard at times, but it also has been rewarding because I can say that I feel a lot more freedom within myself. I feel a lot more myself. I don't feel like I have a mask on, and I feel like I don't have to prove anything to anybody. So that's one of the greatest things that I can say about what's going on in my life. Just want to say quickly, please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. I haven't grown this podcast, this YouTube page, I should say, in some time, but I'm ready to grow this page because I am going to be absolutely, I should say, doing a lot more podcasts for The Journey with James. So please like, share, and subscribe. Tell people, your friends about it, family and friends, because I can assure you that you're going to go out with something from each podcast, something. It was a little tidbit, or if it helps one, it helps two. It doesn't matter, but please spread the word, like, share, and subscribe on this page. So how have I been? I'm asking you, how you been? How have I been? How have I been getting through the ups and specifically the downs? You know, the ups can always feel good, but it's those downs that can be something. I think I shared this a few weeks ago on the Young and the Beerless podcast show, which is the podcast with one of my best friends, George. You can watch that every Monday at 11 a.m. on the Young and the Beerless page and on any podcast entity. But I shared a little bit about feeling incredibly lonely about a month ago now. For some reason, I felt it was we all can feel lonely at times, but this was like lonely at another level. It was a little bit more intense for me. I was by myself, which I'm by myself a lot more now. As you know, that I am finalizing a divorce coming up in no time now. But with that said, I've been separated for a long time and I've been alone. Of course, I have my kids. I get them. I get my boys at a set time that was court appointed and different things like that. But it's those times when I'm alone that can sometimes mess with me. And but this particular time, it was a weekend. I felt completely and utterly and absolutely lonely. I couldn't understand why. I was frustrated. It wasn't like something dramatic happened that caused it. I don't think it was a trigger, anything that triggered me, because I'm really cognizant of catching those triggers now in my healing process. But it was a fact that I was feeling lonely. In that loneliness, I felt that people didn't want to be bothered with me. That was just a thing that I was feeling. Now, I want you to understand something. Although I was feeling that way, it doesn't mean it was an accurate statement. It was simply something that I was feeling based off of the traumas and different things that I had dealt with in my life previously. So with that said, I absolutely know that I had my best friends, I had my family, I had people that I could actually reach out to. But I didn't choose to do that at that moment. I did later on, I will say that. But in that moment, I was just not feeling it. I was just done. I was just like, oh, I'm just all pity party. Oh, woe is me at that point. And we can all get like that. Let's be real. I was woe is me. You know, I cried. I sat there and thought about things in my past. I felt like, oh man, regrets and different things like that. It was a horrible weekend for me. But through that, it was like, okay, I could take this moment as a healing process. I can take this moment and see what good can I get out of this? And one thing I recognize is that I was depending on people to fulfill a reward that only God can. Only I can simply go to God for this simple thing. Loneliness is real, and loneliness was real for me, but it was a component in that moment that showed me what I was doing over the years, and that was depending on people. And don't get me wrong, it is nothing wrong with having people in your corner, depending on people. I mean, just having that support system. I'm not saying that whatsoever, but it's in those moments, in the moments where you don't feel like you have a support system, or you feel a little bit off or whatever. And of course, what you feel does not have necessarily be true. But in those moments, you shouldn't know that you can lean on yourself and know that God is giving you peace. You know that God is giving you joy, that God's giving you everything you need, that you don't have to depend on people to survive. And so I felt like I wasn't surviving. I was almost feel like I was suffocated because I didn't have those people in my corner, or I felt like those people was in my corner. But in that moment, it taught me that I'm leaning on too much on people, and I'm not loving myself enough. And I'm not loving myself enough to know that I am enough, and that it's okay, and that it's not what it seems, and that I can lean on God, and God's going to give me the strength that I need. And if God give me the strength that I need, and I have a relationship with him, and I have joy with him, my heart with him, and I'm connected with him, it's going to shine without, to other people. And it's going to shine without when I feel that loneliness, when I feel less than, that I can know that I can connect to God and he can get me through. And so that was that moment for me that I had to process. And in that moment, I simply say, you know what, God, I give it all to you. Lord, I'm feeling lonely right now. Lord, I'm feeling less than. I'm feeling like no one wants to be bothered. And I know, Lord, I know for a fact, and this is something that that growth takes courage. I know for a fact that this is not necessarily true, what I'm feeling. I know that there are people there for me. I know that there are people that absolutely love me, but I also recognize it's the trauma that's speaking to my mind, but I come against it right now in Jesus' name. And I'm going to tell you, peace came over me in that moment. I was able to reach out and hang out with some people later on that day, and I was better. But with all that said, it's just amazing how we can take something, dwell in it that's negative. We can dwell in it that is negative, and we can make it bigger if we don't really take the time and the courage to say, okay, I feel this moment, but why am I feeling this moment? I feel this moment, it doesn't feel good. Let's break this down. Instead of doing that, we mope and we just let it fester and get bigger. But I'm proud of myself in that moment because I used to let it fester and linger, but I'm proud of myself for speaking up on it. And so with that said, I had some people that understood that, some friends that understood it, some people may not understood it. But in that moment, it was for me to process and to get it for myself. so that I could be fulfilled and I can grow and heal through what I was feeling. But with that said, it may be some people out there that's feeling incredibly lonely right now. The people that are watching me or hearing me right now, the sound of my voice, they're feeling like they're less than. They're feeling like nobody wants to be bothered. They're feeling like there's no hope for their life. But I want to tell you, there's hope. There's love. And you know, I've always talked about God because I am a Christian. I'm a proud Christian. I don't mind saying that. I will always say that because God is the center of my life. He's the joy of my life. And I know that if he's done it for me, he can do it for you. And so for those who are listening, who feel just feel like they're off, they feel like they're, they feel like they're not going to make it. I want to say to you guys that you can make it. I want to say to you guys that this too shall pass. I want to say to you guys that you don't have to feel less than. Understand that sometimes what we feel is not what we know. We can feel what we feel, but we should know what we know. I feel this way, but the fact is it's not that way. I feel like nobody wants to be bothered, but the fact is there are people that want to reach out to you. And sometimes we lean on people that we are related to, people that we're close to, and people. But there are some people that are actually outside of your realm, don't even really know you. There are people that have compassion, that want to see you do better, that want to see you feel healed, want to see you feel happy. So don't just depend on that, but just understand that there's always somebody that wants to help you. So I know you're probably feeling like, well, my mom is not there for me. My dad is not there for me. My aunts, uncles, whatever, these close friends, they're not there for you. Okay, it may very well be true, but it also could be just a feeling. But just think about this for a moment. While you feel like those people are not there, understand out of all these people in this United States of America, all over the world, actually, let's go beyond that, just all over the world, there is somebody, even if it's just one person, there is somebody here on earth that absolutely cares about you. Even if they don't know you, they care, they're compassionate, and they want to help you. So just understand that, but also understand that you have to connect with God. God is going to fulfill those voids. So it's almost like we're taking temporary pleasures for eternal pains. We temporarily have the pleasure of having these people around, but what are those moments when they're not around and they can't be around? Who are you going to connect with? It's a temporary pleasure to feel eternal pain. And the only person, the only thing that can, not only person, but the only thing that can change that is God. He can fulfill and feel those temporary pleasures for those eternal pains. He'll take those things away and he will give you that peace, that void that needs to be filled so that you can have a productive and fulfilling life. And so just understand that. Understand that you, yes, you are special. Understand that you, yes, you are significant. Understand that you, yes, you matter. Don't care what nobody says, what anybody says, I should say, broken English, but it doesn't matter what anybody has to say about you. What they have to say about your past, what they have to say about what they feel about your future, how they perceive you. Hey, you may have been a mess back in the day. You may have done things that you're not proud of back in the day, but it's not your now. Your past is your past. And some people, they can only speak on what they know from your past because they don't have access to your future. They don't have access to who you are today. And sometimes you don't need to give them access. You need to keep moving on in your life. So understand their perspective. I know I'm trying to understand other people's perspectives and why they're maybe negative towards me or whatever, even if it's past mistakes. I got to a point where I understand. They only know what they felt about me. And it may not even be true of what they felt. But it's their feeling. And I don't take that from them. That's their feeling. But at the end of the day, I can't let that be on me. That's their business. It has nothing to do with me. I can't stop living and I can't stop moving forward and enjoying life and moving forward from condemnation in life if I'm so bogged down by what other people think about me. Because they don't have access to who I am today, or I have access to the evolved James, I'm not saying I was troubled then, but hey, it's whatever people want to perceive. It's their business, not mine. And that has given me so much peace in my healing process. That was one of the number one thing that caused depression and suicidal thoughts for me back in the day, a few years ago, is the fact that I felt so condemned from my past. I felt so condemned because of people were saying things about me, or I felt that people were saying things about me negatively, and painting me as the worst person in the world when simply I'm just a human being with flaws and all, and I'm simply a human being that had some traumas that I had to deal with so that I could become the better version of myself. So It took time, but I'm here. It takes time still. I'm still in this process, but I've grown so much. And you can grow as much as I can as well. But it takes effort on your part. It takes saying, you know what, I got to go see a therapist. I need to go see a therapist. I see a therapist all the time. Matter of fact, I saw a therapist the other day. I see one every week. And it's the best thing for me. And I've been doing it for a few years. It has been the best thing for me. It has made me better. It has helped me to grow. It has helped me to accept who I am, to be confident in who I am, and to not have to worry about what other people think about me. It's helped me to connect to God even more. Like, it's just important. And so I thank God for therapy. And I told you, I may have said it in a few podcasts ago. I might have said it a couple times. I used to think that, I'm not going to see a therapist. When I need a therapist, I feel like I'm crazy or whatever. No, actually, you're actually strong to admit that there are areas that you need. I feel like everybody could benefit from therapy. It has helped me to be who I am today, and I'm a happier person because of it, and still growing, but I'm confident in who I am, and I'm glad that God created me. I'm glad to be here on this earth and living life. In this journey of life. And I'm glad that I could be able to share my journey with you so that you can be encouraged, you can be motivated, and you can be inspired as well. Well, that's simply all I want to say for this particular edition, the episode 2 of season 4. I pray that you guys have gotten something from it. I pray that you are encouraged, like I said, motivated and inspired throughout your day, through night, your next week, your next day, your next second, your next minute, and that you just hold on and know that you're not alone. There are other people in this world that feel lonely too. But I'm hoping that my loneliness and what I experienced a few weeks ago can help you in whatever you're feeling right now. Know that this too shall pass. Don't give up on life. Hey, it's just the moment. It's just the time. But you're going to come out as strong and you're going to be better for it. I promise you that, okay? God bless you guys. Take care and join me again on the next edition of the Journey with James podcast. God bless you. Take care.